The very first Nancy Drew game, Secrets Can Kill, is unhinged in how surprisingly mature it is for a game with a target audience of 10-year-old children. Secrets Can Kill starts off the way any good piece of children's media does, with a body bag. The following game in the series, Stay Tuned for Danger, meanwhile, is unhinged in an entirely different way. But Stay Tuned for Danger is similar to Secrets Can Kill in that it is one of the most inaccessible Nancy Drew games, not being available on Steam and running on modern computers only if the stars are aligned, a blood sacrifice is made, and the old gods are feeling especially benevolent. So for those of you who have never been able to get this game to work, or who are burnt out from running the gauntlet of softlocks that is Stay Tuned for Danger, this video is for you. And for everyone else watching, really, I'm not gonna snipe you from the grassy knoll just because you finished Stay Tuned for Danger and are watching this video. Like Secrets Can Kill, Stay Tuned for Danger is based on a book of the same name from the most unhinged Nancy Drew series, the Nancy Drew Files. While there are a few differences between the book and the game, they both follow the same basic premise. Nancy is in New York City, where her Aunt Eloise owns a townhouse. Aunt Eloise, reminder, is a high school librarian in a small town in Florida, who owns a brownstone on Lexington Avenue in New York as well as a large family home, perhaps implying that she's involved in some kind of lucrative and possibly illegal racket. Cage fighting, for instance. That's the only explanation I can think of for her ludicrous security system in Secrets Can Kill Remastered.
Help?
Aunt Eloise's townhouse is currently being rented out by Maddie Jensen, star of TV soap opera Light of Our Love, or, as I will refer to it, LOL. On the surface, Maddie appears remarkably down-to-earth for a TV celebrity. All she initially appears to have going on are some mommy issues, and don't we all? I fear her acting must have suffered from the amount of Botox she's had. Look at her, she can barely move her face. Yet she still won an ass award. Maddie is concerned because her work husband, Rick Arlen, has been receiving death threats, which have been getting increasingly weird.
Weird?
Weird.
These death threats include
Letters, poisoned chocolates, a broken watch, and then there's that whole thing with the teleprompter.
So what happened with the teleprompter?
Well, I was reading the teleprompter during a scene with Rick. All of a sudden, my lines read, "You're going to die a horrible death, Rick."
So Maddie's put the best person on the job, a teen detective with only one case under her belt, during the course of which someone was shot. She has Maddie's fullest confidence. Maddie's so confident, in fact, that she gives Nancy her spare keys and a visitor's pass for the TV studio, so Nancy effectively has free reign of Maddie's home and workplace. Then Maddie teleports out of the room. She's a busy modern woman, she doesn't have time for a walk animation. With Maddie gone, Nancy can do what she does best. Well, what she does second best after asking intrusive questions about people's dead relatives. Snooping. In Maddie's desk, Nancy finds a love letter to Rick Arlen, accusing him of being afraid of commitment. Imagine being afraid of commitment. Oh, I better remember to book those flights so I can avoid spending another anniversary with Ned. A magazine on the coffee table contains an article about Rick, which mentions rumors that he wants to move to Hollywood and break his contract with Worldwide Broadcasting, the production company that makes LOL. This is representative of all of Rick's relationships. He's always breaking up with people, places, companies, anything really, for the possibility of more advantageous prospects. Nancy's not just snooping clues related to the case, though. This girl's sticking her nose and her freaky little eye into Maddie's calendar, her family photos, pictures of her Revolutionary War LARPing group, even the script she's been memorizing, which feels like a direct response to Nancy's out-of-pocket behavior. Oh, I was hoping to find you here. I've been making myself right at home, love. I see you found my personal diary. Oh yeah, you left it right out on the table for all the world to see. What was I supposed to do? Well, you could have shown a little respect for my privacy and left it alone. You know me better than that. Your business is my business, babe. Although on reflection, the phrase out of pocket isn't quite right, as more items are going into Nancy's pockets than out of them, such as Maddie's TV remote, which Nancy keeps with her even as she ventures across the city to Worldwide Broadcasting Co., or WWB for short. Whenever Nancy travels to another location, she is picked up by one of the 3 taxi drivers in New York City, all of whom are stereotypes of varying levels of offensiveness.
Taxi!
Where can I take you today, miss?
Yeah, what's the address?
Where to, lady?
Manning the front desk at WWB is a security guard named Ralph Gardino, a clear case of nominative determinism. He takes his job as archetypal security guard seriously, double-fisting a donut and a mug of coffee.
Can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you?
No, thank you. Just looking.
Can I help you? Can I help you?
No, thank you. Just looking.
Can I help you?
Nancy makes her way through the liminal hallways before she is stopped in her tracks by some freshly squeezed drama.
I don't care who he is. No one breaks a contract with Bill Pappas. I'll kill him before he runs out on me.
Oh! Kill him, you say? People are always saying vaguely sinister things within earshot of Nancy Drew. This always happens to her. Then Nancy witnesses Rick and Maddie make a scene. She's going to find out live and in person what makes this award-winning, mega-popular show so special.
Rory, I have to talk to you.
I don't want to see you, Serena.
No, Rory, don't go. I love you.
I don't want to see you, Serena.
Oh my gosh, it's the light of our love! Stealing the scene as always.
Sheesh!
Rick insists that he can't work under these conditions, so filming is called off for the rest of the day. Nancy debriefs with Maddie, who agrees that this event is once again
Weird.
She also provides some more background on Rick, namely that she and Rick used to be a couple. She acts extremely chill about it for someone with the draft of a love letter to her ex-boyfriend in her desk at home. But she's over it, guys. She's totally over it.
But Rick wouldn't hurt a fly.
Rick wouldn't hurt a fly, but he would have a relationship with one and then break up with it to date its friend with better social connections. Then Maddie teleports off screen again.
In the meantime, make yourself at home.
So Nancy goes right ahead and makes herself at home in the Rory Danner sense by looking through all of Maddie's private belongings. On the table next to her armchair is a love note written in French, and on the floor is a newspaper reporting that LOL's ratings are in jeopardy after the rumors of Rick's departure, next to a second headline, 3 clowns injured. Elephants trample peanut vendor. I know one clown who hasn't been injured, miraculously. Inside an envelope addressed to Maddie is a strange word search, one of many metatextual clues in the game. These were widespread in Secrets Can Kill as well. Inexplicable references to events within the game, seemingly from an omniscient perspective, as if some higher power is speaking directly to Nancy, in rhyming verse for some reason. Something poetic justice. For example, a mask of sweet sincerity, a cloak of loving kindness, meant to sway the heart to trust and fill the eyes with blindness. This message, I think, is intended to make the player suspicious of Maddie. Perhaps these fourth-wall-breaking clues are evidence that Nancy's been in a coma this whole time, and these are examples of her subconscious leaking. That would explain why she never ages. Then Nancy gets the opportunity to meet Rick Arlen.
Daytime's cutest hunk?
Sensual music starts playing as soon as Nancy enters Rick's dressing room, as if to suggest that, hey, this guy's Daytime's cutest hunk. There's a charming dissonance between the uncanny, low-budget, claymation-esque character models in Stay Tuned for Danger and how they're perceived in the game world.
We're here on the set at Worldwide Broadcasting Studios with soap heartthrob Rick Arlen.
Suspending your disbelief is the Stay Tuned for Danger experience. But Rick isn't only Daytime's cutest hunk. He's also a total creepo.
Oh, gorgeous. Where have you been all my life?
Grade school, you jerk. I'm 18 years old. He should have received the ass award, not Maddie.
But then I've always been a lucky guy. I just met you, Miss Drew.
Look, Rick, there's no point in hitting on me. I'm early in my career. I don't know anyone yet. I haven't met Laurie Gerard or Brady Armstrong or Charlena Purcell or anyone important like that. I know like 3 teenagers in a small town in Florida. Despite all the weird things that have been happening to him, Rick is still convinced they're all simple accidents. He is so unserious. He's more interested in playing games than his very recent near-death experience. For instance,
Truth or dare?
if Nancy chooses truth, he responds,
Admit it. You find me irresistible, don't you, Nancy?
Actually, I find those letters you've been getting irresistible. I just love a good mystery.
If she instead opts for dare, Rick says,
Okay, while I go to makeup, stay here, get all cozy, and stay beautiful.
I would immediately be calling Ralph Gardino and making some kind of report, but Nancy obeys Rick's instructions, if only because for her, getting cozy means snooping. To quote Rory Danner, "Your business is my business, babe." Scattered around the room, Nancy finds all the weird threats Maddie mentioned, including multiple menacing letters, some signed by a B.T. Kaiser, others, typed on a typewriter which drops its Y's, show the fanaticism of a dedicated stalker who taunts Rick that they know the access code to his apartment, know where all his bolt holes are, and worst of all, know that he's uncultured. You ordered red wine with your halibut, you fool. But of course, these letters are purely accidental, as is the broken watch, dead flowers, and poisoned chocolates which spell out the words "Die, Rick," and are accompanied by a note which adapts one of Shakespeare's sonnets into hate mail. All completely coincidental. Before leaving, Nancy pockets a pair of 3D glasses. You might be wondering, why does Nancy take what to any normal person looks like a piece of garbage? To even ask that question shows that you don't have what it takes to be an internationally renowned teen sleuth. That's Nancy's superior detective's intuition that sets her apart from the amateurs. One man's trash is a junior detective's treasure. Before Nancy can liberate any more souvenirs from the set, her pass is taken away by Lillian Weiss, Law's director, who tells her that the set is now closed to visitors. But they can't keep a good girl detective down, and Maddie has an idea to get Nancy permitted back on set. She'll ask her agent, Dwayne Powers, to get Nancy a job as an extra on Law. So Nancy goes to meet Dwayne at his office in the dank basement of an inauspicious apartment building, where Dwayne dwells like a mushroom in a cave. Despite this, he is not a fun guy.
Go away.
One thing about Dwayne is that his veneers are brighter than his future. Maddie describes him as being skilled in many fields, such as sales, carpentry, and acting. And yet, things don't seem to be going so well for him. You can tell he's going through a crisis by the crooked frame on his wall. That's textbook environmental storytelling.
I'm afraid that my standards are rather high for most people.
Tell that to the crooked frame on your wall. As well as being Maddie's agent, Nancy discovers Dwayne used to represent Rick Arlen before Rick broke up with him in favor of more advantageous prospects. Dwayne agrees to set Nancy up as an extra at WWB as a favor to Maddie, and shortly afterward, Nancy returns to the studio, ready to be the next big thing in TV soap operas.
Hi, I've been hired as an extra by the Powers Agency.
Here you are. You'll need to sign for it. You'll need to come to this desk every time you enter so I can log you in. Thank you, and good luck.
Nancy runs into Lillian, who doesn't have any more respect for Nancy now that she's gainfully employed. She insinuates that Powers' talent is the Walmart of talent agencies, and Nancy is the great value of extras. Being insulted by an early Nancy Drew PC game character just hits different.
Don't knock yourself out, kid.
Thanks, but usually it's other people doing that to me. Well, I'll let you get back to your business. Down the hall from Lillian's office is the prop room, which is overseen by Millie Strathorn, who also happens to be the owner of Worldwide Broadcasting. She's like your grandma, if your grandma was secretly a multimillionaire with a media empire. Another important thing you should know about Millie is that she threatens to kick Rick Arlen in the balls. I just thought you should know that.
What that man needs is a good swift kick and a you-know-what.
Millie is much like a bridge troll in that she won't let anyone into the prop room unless they correctly answer her riddles 3. Side note, this might be the only time this game passes the Bechdel test, because what do women talk about with each other that isn't men or riddles? However, Millie's riddles are no match for Nancy Drew, girl detective, who eats riddles for breakfast. Millie is so impressed, she appears to have some kind of medical episode.
You may go and enter the prop room now, while I go and unpowder my nose.
I can only describe the prop room and Stay Tuned for Danger as where trinket lovers go when they die. It's chock-a-block with bric-a-brac. For instance, more meta clues, an intriguing puzzle contraption containing a clock hand, and a sick her interactive skateboard, presumably for when Millie wants to practice her kickflips. On Millie's desk is a note listing props which have gone missing: fake beard and mustache, black; spirit gum adhesive, 1 bottle; maracas, 1 pair; 3D glasses, which Nancy already found in Rick's dressing room; alarm clock, hacksaw, letter opener, and a tape recorder. One great thing about Stay Tuned for Danger is that if you pay enough attention, you can trace the whereabouts of all these missing items throughout the game, like a scavenger hunt. Except the letter opener. That stumped me, a junior detective, so let me know if you find it. Also on Millie's desk is a typewriter which drops its Y's, matching some of the threatening letters Rick received. If Nancy looks closely, she can see Millie recently used it to write the summary of a potential LOL episode, in which a character suffers from amnesia after being hit by a falling rat. Finally! The return of prestige TV! The summary also mentions Rory Danner, who is, of course, Rick's character on LOL, dying due to poorly placed rat poison, which could be construed as a death threat towards Rick, as Millie has trouble distinguishing between Rick and Rory. Nancy takes this as a sign to check on Rick's well-being, but when she goes to knock on his door, it opens with an ominous creak. A message scrawled on the mirror in red letters threatens, "Die, Rick." On the dressing table beneath the mirror is a tape recorder, to be precise, a Drew-corder, with a note prompting Nancy to play me. This tape recorder is another of the missing items from the prop room. Upon hitting play, Nancy hears a message which seems to have been recorded in a fish bowl, with both the water and the fish still inside.
Hello, Rick. Don't try to leave the room. The door's locked. Didn't you get my first warning? Somewhere in this room is an explosive device that won't be monitored by the smithereens. Maybe more than another.
Was that a burp? The gist of the message is that there is a bomb hidden in the room and Nancy has limited time to disarm it. Oh no, Rick! It looks like someone accidentally dropped this bomb in your dressing room. There's just one problem. Nancy didn't pick up the screwdriver earlier, so... With a slight timeline divergence, Nancy is back, armed with a screwdriver and the unearned confidence of a teenager who's never disarmed a bomb before. With the screwdriver, she's able to open the Drew-corder, which is actually a cleverly disguised bomb. There's just one problem. Nancy didn't pick up the pliers in the prop room, so... After killing a handful of Nancys in a few alternate timelines by snipping the wrong wires, Nancy successfully disarms the bomb. Just a normal Tuesday afternoon for Nancy Drew.
Hello, Ms. Drew. This is Bill Pappas, the producer for Light of Our Love. I just wanted to thank you for your quick thinking and valiant efforts today.
Thank you, Mr. Pappas, but it was nothing really.
When interrogated as to just how someone was able to casually plant a bomb in the dressing room of Rick Arlen, International Success Magazine's Man of the Year, Bill Pappas, flustered, claims that security at the studio is so tight...
My own mother couldn't have gotten in here.
Look, I don't care how bad your relationship with your mother is. Tell that to your therapist. Big Papa goes on to say that the only people with access to the studio are the security personnel, pyrotechnicians, Technical crew, temporary employees, permanent employees, janitors, key talent, floor managers, staffers, writers, actors, assistants, sound engineers, control room staff, directors, and Millie. A skeleton crew, really. Nancy can also phone her friends, Bess and George, and her boyfriend, Ned. Bess keeps up with all the tabloid gossip, so she is an especially valuable resource.
There's the director, Lillian Weiss, who's not a very happy camper.
Oh yeah, Chatter Magazine had a whole spread on their breakup at some elegant restaurant. She dumped a whole pitcher of water on Rick's head.
I love a woman you can't take out in public.
My agent, Dwayne Powers, is pretty cool, but let's just say he's not one of Rick's #1 fans.
Never heard of him. It's so funny to hear you say my agent. So how did you hook up with him?
You know, there are other ways to get a job in TV, Bess. For example, nepotism. After saying goodbye to Bess, Nancy thinks about what time to set her alarm while the witches from Macbeth narrate her decision. At least that's my best guess as to what's going on here. Turn night to day or day to night. The choice is yours for darkness or light. Choose the path you decide to take, for only you can decide your fate. Lightning crash, thunder. It's a dark and stormy night, you know? You know what I'm saying? I love how this esoteric poem makes this seem like a weighty decision with lasting consequences, but it's literally just, how long do you want to sleep? After taking a nap until it gets dark out, Nancy sneaks into WWB using an entry code Big Papa mailed over, then uses her ID card to get into Lillian's office. The lion's den, you could say. The belly of the beast. The environmental storytelling goes crazy in here, showing the player that Lillian, like Maddie, is still hung up on Rick. This is the most mysterious part of this game. How these two exceptional women care this much about this untalented, slimy, horn dog fuckboy of a man. Is this some kind of psyop? Was Rick blessed by a good fairy at birth? Did he buy a love spell from a mysterious woman down a back alley whose face he never saw but who seemed to know everything about him? Because there is no rational explanation for this. While scouring Lillian's office, Nancy finds a phone number for Saprisa chocolates, the same brand as Rick's tainted chocolates, a bottle of castor oil, and the draft of a reworked Shakespeare sonnet. Pretty damning evidence that Lillian sent Rick the poisoned chocolates. Lillian is out here playing 4D mind games. This is such a creative and devious revenge scheme. I'm in awe. Hidden inside a self-help book is a posed photo of Lillian and Rick, one of those clear signs that a couple won't stay together. There's so much to unpack here. The pose, the body language, the differing vibes of the outfits, their expressions, not to mention the sinister red glow. We can't ignore the sinister red glow. But somehow, the other item tucked inside this book is even worse. A floppy disk labeled Personal Files. Nancy, you really don't want to look at those. Trust me. The missing maracas are on Lillian's bookshelf, hinting to an unseen side of Lillian. A side that's a little bit fun, a little bit freaky, and that likes mariachi music. Nancy also discovers the door combination for the set's control booth, which she is able to read thanks to the 3D glasses, proving that Nancy Drew is always right. She walks over to the main set, displaying a detective's intuition so shrewd as to appear almost psychic. She uses the clock hand she found in the prop room to set the time on the grandfather clock to 11, and is rewarded with a small key. Nancy goes up to the control booth, entering using the combination she found in Lillian's office. Stay tuned for Danger released in 1999, so everything is delightfully analog, and nowhere is this more apparent than the control booth. One wall is crammed with VHS tapes containing security camera footage, and Nancy grabs one. The other side of the room is dominated by a large control panel of audio mixing equipment. On the phone earlier, Ned said that Nancy could clean up the voice on the threatening cassette tape from the Drew Quarter and find out who planted the bomb. So Nancy inserts the tape into the machine, but no matter how much she fiddles with the various sliders, the voice continues to sound like the audio equivalent of mush. God speaks to her through a whiteboard. Light reveals what is hidden in the darkness, but you must first unlock the power of the light. The meaning of this cryptic message comes to Nancy immediately. Her mind is operating on a different level to all of ours. If Nancy's brain is a Corsair Vengeance gaming PC, ours are a small pile of sticks played with by a caveman. Ignoring a large danger sign, as she is wont to do, Nancy uses the small key from the clock to open an electrical box and turn on the power. A very literal light bulb moment. Remember, children playing this game, it is okay to ignore large danger signs and fiddle around in electrical boxes. It's what Nancy Drew would do. Back downstairs, Nancy goes to reveal what is hidden in the darkness, now that she has unlocked the power of the light. What it reveals is a puzzle, which opens a secret trap door. Nancy descends into the depths of the studio and finds herself behind a locked fence in the prop room. Jail for bad actors. A torn plaid shirt is thrown over a chair with the ID for someone named Owen W. Spader in its pocket, another employee of Power's talent. Who the fun day is Owen Spader? Nancy returns to the set and climbs up to the catwalk, where she notices a scrap of plaid shirt caught in the lighting rig, right around where the light fell on Rick's head. She also sees where the light was sawn through, presumably with the hacksaw missing from the prop room. Nancy then goes back to Lillian's office and tries to get on her computer. There's just one problem. Nancy didn't get Millie's login info from the prop room. That's fine though, all she has to do is simply walk over there and... There's just one problem. She didn't pick up a spare doorknob, so...
Caught ya. I knew there was something suspicious about you. Well, no more snooping around for you, young lady.
One or two timeline resets later, Nancy hacks Lillian's computer in a totally cool and legally permissible way. She searches Owen Spader's ID number in the employee records and discovers he was on the set every time something happened to Rick. Back at Maddie's apartment, Nancy watches the security tape. Viewer discretion is advised for this next clip, as the footage you're about to witness is highly disturbing. The footage is in black and white and shows the WWB hallways, where a man wearing Dwayne Powers' clothes and a beard and mustache struts coquettishly through the hallways, before Dwayne Powers, fresh-faced as a newborn babe, exits another door a couple seconds later, walking as normally as a... well, whatever this is. The language of soap operas is telling us that Nancy should be looking for Dwayne Powers' evil twin. The next day, Nancy clocks in for another shift of being a public menace at the Public Menace Factory, aka Worldwide Broadcasting Co. And what better way to start her morning off wrong than by talking to Rick Arlen?
So, what can I do for you, young lady? Your wish is my command.
I'm really not that young, Rick.
Girl, and I say that deliberately. You are 18 years old. You are not even old enough to legally drink. You cannot rent a car in most states. Please don't go around telling total creepos you're not that young. I know you have very few survival instincts on a good day, but this is important.
Right, I forgot. You're celebrating your 70th birthday next month? Oh, you are so sassy. But that's what I love about you. Sassy.
Speaking of loving sassy women, when asked about his relationship with Lillian, Rick claims it was just a rebound after he broke up with Maddie, and that Lillian is a nobody. I wouldn't call one of the greatest female filmmakers of our generation a nobody, but then I'm not a deeply insecure misogynist, so... And what was Rick's relationship with Maddie like?
Weird. I know, I've got this bad reputation as being some kind of Casanova, but everyone's got a second chance, you know? I just wish sometimes I could go back in time, just wake up and find it was just a dream and start all over. I wouldn't be known as Rick the Slick then.
He doesn't regret that his actions hurt multiple women. He does, however, regret that they caused the press to give him a mean nickname. It could have been a lot worse, Rick. For instance, Rick the Dick. Nancy then speaks to Lillian, who tells a different story.
Yeah, well, that's ancient history. Just like it is between Rick and your friend Maddie. What do you mean between Rick and Maddie?
Nancy says, as though she hasn't heard even a whisper about a relationship between Rick and Maddie, when it has been omnipresent since the very beginning of this case. Nancy Drew, I underestimated your game. Maybe you do have a future in acting. Lillian reveals that she is the reason Rick and Maddie broke up, because he wanted to get with Lillian to use her friends to, quote, schmooze his way into films. That's Rick, putting the ooze in schmooze.
Rick the Slick.
But Maddie is in way too deep and is still lying to herself that Rick is a good person and their breakup was mutual. Actually, I have no regrets, says the woman who spends her free time drafting love letters to her ex-boyfriend and is clearly not over him. There's just one person left whose personal space Nancy hasn't invaded. Dweeb Powers. Nancy takes a taxi back to his office that night. Dwayne's not in, but she can buzz any of the other residents of his building, who all have names that sound like they're in the witness protection program, but like in a fun and whimsical way. Patty Cake, Ray Sin, Wendy Mills, I Am Trouble. The only person who responds to Nancy's buzzing is the plausibly named Hess Grumbly, who is expecting a pizza.
It's about time you showed up. I've been waiting 45 minutes for that pizza.
What are New Yorkers like? Well, they're grumpy, and they like pizza? And so Nancy is granted access to the building and uses her same old trick with the ID card to break into Dwayne's office. It's the sad space of a divorcee going through a midlife crisis, except it's not a marital partner Dwayne's going through a messy divorce with, but Rick Arlen, the light of his professional life. Or light of his professional love? No, maybe not. This dying plant, surrounded by newspapers detailing Rick's success, feels like a metaphorical representation of Dwayne himself. He is this dying plant, well past his salad days, cursed to forever look on as his former protege achieves success independently of him, unable to do anything but watch as he slowly declines into oblivion. There is nothing that speaks encouragingly to Dwayne's mental state in his grimy little office. Every detail indicates a man spiraling towards a Hindenburg-type crash-out. An eviction notice indicating Dwayne is late on his rent, a bank statement showing that his account is overdrawn, a one-way ticket to Brazil, a doorknob from WWB's prop room meaning that Dwayne was able to sneak in there whenever it tickled his fancy, the bottle of spirit gum missing from the prop room, and a doodle of a bomb. You know the midlife crisis is troubling when they're doodling bombs. You know the midlife crisis is pathological when they're building real bombs and trying to explode their former clients. On the bookshelves is a French-English dictionary of love phrases, which Dwayne clearly used to write that love note to Maddie, who only continues to work with him because she feels sorry for him.
Maddie hangs on to Dwayne like my Aunt Mimi hangs on to cats and old newspapers.
Dwayne is not just friend-zoned. No, it's worse than that. He is aunt-zoned. Nancy also finds out more about Owen Spader from looking in the filing cabinets, like that he lives on Bamboozle Drive. Not a real road in New York City, believe it or not. I did research for this video. Owen also apparently was hired on September 11th. Did Owen Spader do 9/11? I've never seen him and a Boeing 767 in the same room. Dwayne also still has information on Rick Arlen. Ask him about his file retention policy. Rick's file reveals that his real name is Rick Abertuski, an anagram of B.T. Kaiser, one of the people who sent him death threats. So Rick was sending death threats to himself, just for shits and giggles, I guess. Speaking of anagrams, Owen W. Spader is in fact an anagram of Dwayne Powers, which is something all criminals love to do. Operate under a cute alias that is an anagram of their real government name. Nancy returns to the townhouse to find a ticking package waiting for her. Inside is the missing clock from the prop room and a threatening note. This is your final warning, Nancy Drew. You better mind your own business and go back to your little life in River Heights. I mean it. Leave town now, or next time you won't be so lucky. Only Nancy Drew could so blithely open a ticking package the day after she disarmed a real bomb with absolutely no trauma attached. Then the phone rings. It's Lillian, who abruptly asks Nancy to meet her at the studio alone at night. This is either a proposition or Lillian is inviting Nancy to her top secret fight club. And Lillian does seem ready to tussle when Nancy shows up.
I see our Miss Snoop has shown up.
But it's actually a secret third thing. Lillian has some nerve calling Nancy Miss Snoop in that condescending tone, as she's been doing some snooping herself and received her own threatening letter as consequence. It's been written on the same typewriter from the prop room, the one that drops its Y's.
Who could be doing this?
Here, Nancy has the opportunity to accuse everyone she's on a first-name basis with in this city, from the unseen William Pappas, who, for all we know, looks like Dwayne Powers but with a beard and mustache, to Lillian herself. She has enough evidence to make a compelling enough argument to get any of them arrested, but the self-sabotaging culprit just can't help himself and inserts himself into the conversation.
Without a doubt, the prop master is behind it all.
That prop master was always too sneaky for my taste.
You're so right, Lillian. Her insane desire for control in this studio hit a blank wall when Rick refused to stay with Light of Our Love. Yes, she sure plays the role of prop master very well. Prop master of death.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure it's...
Dwayne Powers.
Dude, all you had to do was keep quiet and they would have arrested the sweet little old lady for attempted bomb murder. You would have been free to move to Brazil and live a full life as Owen Spader. Dwayne thinks Rick is his worst enemy, but in reality, he himself is. You can tell Dwayne is still a theater kid at heart, because he just loves to make a dramatic entrance. He just loves to be the center of attention. He just loves to chew the scenery to shreds.
Rick Arlen's death will be the climax to this little soap opera I've produced. I'm calling it One Death to Die.
Dwayne, this isn't a soap opera.
But it is. That's what makes Stay Tuned for Danger so unhinged. It's both a game about making a soap opera and a soap opera itself, full of sudsy tropes and overly dramatic situations implausible to real life. The love quadrangle, the bomb and the tape recorder, a guy who actually thinks that if he just puts on a fake beard and mustache, no one will recognize him, even if he's wearing the same outfit he wears every single day. Not to say that the other Nancy Drew games are known for being grounded in reality, but you can tell they had a lot of fun hamming it up for this one. Speaking of hams, back to Dwayne, who is enjoying his dramatic monologue a bit too much. But then he runs out of the lines he practiced in the mirror, so he has to come down and murder Nancy and Lillian. Luckily, the way out of this is to solve a puzzle, so of course Nancy saves them both from this predicament. However, if she instead stands there twiddling her thumbs, Dwayne will approach, underlit by a fierce red glow, perhaps the fires of hell, symbolizing that Dwayne is demonically possessed, and he will strangle Nancy in a very literal, non-symbolic way.
Time's up! It's curtains for you, Miss Drew.
No, don't! No!
But in the canon timeline, Ralph the security Guardino is alerted and rushes into the room, knocking Dwayne to the floor with a powerful psychic burst AoE attack. Or maybe he just runs into him, it's kind of hard to tell. Ralph trusses Dwayne like a Christmas hog and gets the last word in.
Forget about it.
In her closing letter, Nancy wraps up the case. Dwayne is awaiting trial for attempted murder, Lillian is working on her first feature film, and Rory and Serena have gotten married on Light of Our Love, which Nancy hopes will rub off on real-life Rick and Maddie. This is absolutely baffling to me. Why are we suddenly rooting for Rick the Slick? It's not like he had a redemption arc. Why does Nancy want Maddie to suffer?
Forget about it.
Hello? Oh, did you think I was snuggly? Fool! I am fugly. Snugly's evil twin. Regrettably, Snuggly was hit by a falling rat and got amnesia, so I will be doing the outro. While Stay Tuned for Danger isn't quite as unhinged as Secrets Can Kill, it's still as ludicrous and entertaining as the soap operas it emulates. Because if you can't have murder in your children's game, attempted murder is almost as good. If you enjoyed this, you should check out Snugly's review of Stay Tuned for Danger. I hear she used up all her best jokes in that video. Have you played Stay Tuned for Danger? What's your opinion of it? Let me know in the comments. Or don't. Fugly doesn't care about things like likes, comments, and subscribes. I only care about being evil.